Toxicity. What do you think of when you hear that word? Do you think of teammates having meltdowns because you're losing? Do you think of teabaggers or chat spammers who must remind you how superior they are to you every time you're eliminated by them? If you play nearly any kind of game, you're bound to encounter toxicity. Players who sit atop their thrones, looking for excuses to burst out in a flurry of insults, slurs, and whatever else they can cook up. Toxicity has and always will be a part of gaming. Competitive games in particular breed toxic behavior. Many legendary moments in gaming, esports, and internet history have been born out of rage, toxicity, and arguments. And that makes sense. People like watching tempers flare and rage spill forth. It's entertainment. What's frustrating is when that behavior finds its way to you. And no other genre does it quite like MOBAs. Anybody who plays a MOBA knows that knot in your stomach when you hit the Q button, knowing that for the next half hour or so, your mental well-being is at the mercy of strangers. Having that one player on the team that, if anything, at any point in the game goes slightly wrong, they hit you with the GG go next. We tend to label toxic behavior as competitive passion, but let's be real here, it's a hostage situation. If one player stops playing or starts throwing the game, the others are dragged down with them. For years, the MOBA genre has been built on a monolithic goal: the win. If you ain't winning, you're losing. This very singular focus on just the win, I really think is a shame, because it takes away from playing the game for the game's sake. Fun has been pushed to the side. It's taking a back seat in favor of optimization and min-maxing. In fact, this is a trend seen across gaming as a whole, across the hero shooter genre, MOBAs, and other competitive forms of gaming. People have become obsessed with winning. Now, I could sit here all day and complain about how toxic traditional MOBAs are, but I'd just be preaching to the choir. Everybody already knows this. What I'm here to talk about is Deadlock, and why it feels different. On paper, Deadlock has every ingredient necessary to become a toxic cesspit of a game. I mean, come on, it's a MOBA hero shooter hybrid. Two of the most infamously toxic genres mashed into one. Are you kidding me? In my experience, Deadlock is less toxic and more fun than other competitive games that I've played. And I could argue that this is because of many different reasons, ranging from simply the age of the game, or to something like the fact that it's constantly getting updated. The meta is always shifting, meaning that people need to keep learning. Or maybe that it's an invite only because it's still in early development. I think all these arguments are logical and valid to a degree, but it's not the real reason. There's something else deeper. In fact, I don't even think that Deadlock's player base is necessarily any less toxic than other games. And you're probably thinking, you're just contradicting yourself, Kadon. What are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is a little something called agency. A paper by Amog Joshi and colleagues defines player agency as the freedom and control to make decisions during gameplay. This greatly differs across single-player and multiplayer games. For example, in a single-player world, your agency is built on the narrative of the game. Your character is quite often the center of the universe, and everything that revolves in the story happens because of them. If you decide to save a town or burn it down, the game, it bends to accommodate you. Your agency is very broad, and you affect the story, the world state, and the ending of the game. In multiplayer, agency becomes competitive, particularly in games like Counter-Strike or Valorant or any shooter genre. It becomes less about narrative and all about skill expression. In a competitive space, agency is your ability to answer the opponent. How do you respond? If the enemy shoots at you, are you able to shoot back and kill them? If the answer is yes, well, you have agency. If the answer is no, no matter what I do, I'm dead, well, your agency has been stripped away. It's gone. This brings me to my main point: the agency gap between Deadlock and other competitive games, particularly MOBAs. Agency is often stat-gated in games like Dota 2 or League of Legends. If a Fed assassin jumps on you and they have, 5,000 more gold than you, your agency is close to zero. You just can't do anything. And this is where a lot of the frustration and toxicity found in the communities of these games stems from. Players who are toxic are not doing so just because they want to. Well, sometimes not. But it's because they've lost their agency. What Valve has done with Deadlock is exactly what the MOBA genre needs: more agency. This mainly comes in the form of two distinct systems within Deadlock. Firstly, the melee and parry system. Every single character in Deadlock can perform light or heavy melees. Light by simply tapping the melee key, or heavy by holding it down. A parry happens when you block an incoming melee attack, like this. It stuns the enemy and prevents the incoming damage. It gives characters who are traditionally weak in the early game, like supports, a way to fight back. You aren't just waiting for your items to come online anymore. You're a threat. And this system has birthed an entirely new style of fighting in the early game, which the community has dubbed burger boxing. It becomes a psychological standoff. Anybody who plays Deadlock knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this doesn't mean that Valve has disregarded the traditional MOBA laning phase, like having a tower that you need to push or minions that you need to clear. There's just something else layered on top of it: some more agency. The other aforementioned system in Deadlock is its incredibly complex and intricate movement. In Deadlock, you have stamina, with the starting amount varying character to character. With this stamina, you're able to perform various movements, like dashing, or air dashing, or double jumping. Additionally, you're able to wall bounce, use zip lines, and air pads. Deadlock's movement is one of its most celebrated parts. There is an entire community within Deadlock just dedicated to movement, with creators like Goober70 and Leaf focusing almost all of their content on Deadlock's movement and how to master it. And once again, the stamina system is universal across every character in Deadlock. And what does this do? Say it with me now. It gives you agency. If you have decent movement in Deadlock, you're never a sitting duck. You always have a way to escape. One of the most thrilling parts about Deadlock's gameplay loop are the movement-based chases that happen throughout the games. Whether you're the one getting chased, or if you're chasing after somebody, it is loads of fun. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that Deadlock's increased agency when compared to its industry counterparts makes the game overall more fun, because you're able to do more. And a more fun game equals a less toxic game. Not necessarily because the community is less toxic, but because the game is just quite simply more enjoyable. There's far more things to focus on than being toxic. It just works. Now, it goes without saying that you're still going to get tons of toxic players in your games. It doesn't really matter how fun the game is. There's still going to be people that just refuse to play. They're just different. But that's okay, because in Deadlock, I think there's less of them. And this brings me to my final point. Everybody is going to have a different definition of what they find fun, including characters, playstyles, or what have you. But the key is to find your own definition and make your own fun. Don't just focus on the win. Play the game for the game's sake. If you don't, your game is just gonna start feeling like a job, and nobody wants that. And remember, do what you like the most. It's what we're supposed to do anyway. That's all for now, guys. See ya.